Good morning class. Today we are going to start with a new chapter of history. Chapter number 2, that is from trade to territory, where the company establishes power. Now here, Aurangzeb was the last of the powerful Mughal rulers. He establishes control over a very large part of the territory that is now known as India. After his death in 1707, many Mughal governors, Subedars and big zamindars began asserting their authority and establishing regional kingdoms. By the second half of the 18th century, however, a new power was emerging on the political horizon, that was the Britishers. This is Aurangzeb. Now, after the establishment of the East India Company, the sea route to India was discovered by Vasco da Gama in 1498. Afterwards, French came to trade in India. They came because of fine quality silk and cotton was produced in India. In 17th and 18th century, the traders sank each other's ship. Effort to fortify settlements and carry profitable trade led to conflict amongst local rulers. Here, the problem does not end. The problem was that all the companies were interested in buying the same things. The fine qualities of cotton and silk produced in India had a big market in Europe. Pepper, cloves, cardamom and cinnamon too were in great demand. Competition amongst the European companies inevitably pushed up the prices at which these goods could be purchased, and this reduced the profits that could be earned. These efforts to fortify settlements and carry on profitable trade also led to intense conflict with local rulers. The company therefore found it difficult to separate trade from politics. Let us see how. Now, East India Company began their first trade in Bengal. The first English factory was set up on the banks of the river Hooghly in 1651. This was the base from which the company's traders, known at the time as factors, operated. The factory had a warehouse where goods for export were stored, and it had offices where company officials sat. As trade expanded, the company persuaded merchants and traders to come and settle near the factory. By 1696, it began building a fort around the settlement. 2 years later, it bribed Mughal officials into giving the company zamindari rights over 3 villages. One of these was Kalikata, which later grew into the city of Calcutta or Kolkata as it is known as today. It also persuaded the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb to issue a farman, which is also known as a royal edict or a royal order, granting the company the right to trade duty-free. At that time, Murshid Quli Khan was the Nawab of Bengal when the company officials refused to pay duty. Now, because of the trade, there was one of the major problems that started, that trade led to battles. After the death of Aurangzeb, the Bengal Nawab asserted their power and autonomy, as other regional powers were doing at that time. Murshid Quli Khan was followed by Alivardi Khan and then Siraj-ud-Daulah as the Nawab of Bengal. Each one of them was a strong ruler. They refused to grant the company concessions, demanded large tributes for the company's right to trade, denied it any right to mint coins, and stopped it from extending its fortification. Now, after this, accusing the company of deceit, they claimed that the company was depriving the Bengal government of huge amounts of revenue and undermining the authority of the Nawab. It was refusing to pay taxes, writing disrespectful letters, and try to humiliate the Nawab and his officials. And because of that, the first battle, the famous battle that took place was Battle of Plassey. Now over here, when Alivardi Khan died in 1756, Siraj-ud-Daulah became the Nawab of Bengal. The company was worried about his power and keen on a puppet ruler who would willingly give trade